Okay, so with the release of the Police and the Unpoliceable video, I've now completed my Congo remaster series. There have been a few questions, so I've decided to make a little answer video. First of all, we'll do the technical stuff and then we'll move on to the historical stuff later. I'll put in a timestamp for anyone who doesn't want to hear the technical stuff, but anyway, I'll begin. So, number one, what is a remaster? Well, the definition, at least the one that Google pulls up, is that a remaster is to make a new master of something, typically to improve the overall quality. A master being another name for a final product of a piece of media that usually goes out to the consumer. So these weren't just re-uploads of previous videos, as a few people were saying. What was it I was actually remastering? I don't know if this were a language barrier issue, a reading comprehension issue, or just a not reading the description issue. But a lot of people had no idea what it was I was even remastering, which confused me because my original Congo series is some of my most successful videos. I think cumulatively they're approaching must be about 2.5 million views now. But I suppose it were 90,000 subscribers since then. The videos were not remasters of the 2019 Mercenaries video, they were remasters of a series of videos I made all the way back in 2017. This links into another question of why'd I change the music? Well, I didn't. I guess technically I changed the music for the first video because all the way back in 2017 and the now long lost original part 1 I used Where's My Mind by the Pixies, but you know, that's neither here nor there. I also used a shorter version of Wonderful Life by Black to facilitate some edits in part 2, but I didn't really change the music per se there, I just had a cut down version. What changes did I make? The goal of the remaster was simply to increase the image quality of the original 2017 videos, which, side by side, I think is pretty evident. The other thing I wanted to do was to prevent part 3 being deleted again, like the original was back in, I think, about 2018. So, when I went through the videos, the only parts I cut out were a large chunk of the video that could be considered gore, and I just replaced it with some other footage. I did this to an extent too with part 2, but that was less to edit out the gore and more because I wasn't very happy with the focus on, just corpses and skeletons and the like. I like to think my videos are a little bit more tasteful now. Why'd I remaster the videos? It was something to do, I suppose. Looking back at it now, I'm not sure I'd do it again. I got a lot of hate from people who either didn't read the descriptions, or didn't watch the trailer, or they were just being dicks for the sake of being dicks. But I did it because up until I uploaded the videos originally in 2017, I'd been on about 50 to 150 subscribers since 2012, so I thought since I'm quickly approaching 100k now that I'd do a little something to celebrate. I wasn't quite sure what to do to, celebrate, so I thought I'd do something nice, pull the old videos out and make them a little bit better. I went out my way to edit them as little as possible. I only corrected a few errors here and there and, the above mentioned insensitive bits. And I made sure to upload them on days that weren't my usual uploading days, so I wouldn't interfere with the regular uploads. I just thought it'd be a nice thing to do. But anyway, that's the technical stuff. Not very technical, but Uh, these are the frequently asked questions about the mercenaries and the topic itself. Who are they? Well, the mercenaries in the video are a mix of 52 and 54 Commando and the Congolese army. These were subunits of Mike Ho's 5 Commando who were hired by the Congolese government in July-August 1964 in an attempt to save the Congo from falling to separate yet kind of linked rebellions in the east of the country. These aren't the same mercenaries who had fought the UN 4 years earlier. That was a completely different war, but it's a piece of misunderstanding I see crop up a lot. Specifically, putting names to faces is a lot harder than you think it'd be, especially considering the mess surrounding 52 Commando at the time of the recording. I've had a back and forth going with the guy trying to identify a lot of these guys, but so far we've only managed to pick out a few, who were Lieutenant Ben Lau, who was the commander of 52 Commando at the time, Lieutenant Charles Massey, who was the former second in command of 52 Commando, back when it was run by Siegfried Muller. We have possibly identified Tim Dreyer, a volunteer who was later a sergeant in either 52 or 54 Commando. We're not sure on this one, but the faces kind of match. Not really a face, but people have speculated who Nell was at the in the first video. He was a German volunteer who died at Bikili a few days before the footage was shot. But other than that, not much is known about him. As for the pirate-looking guy, who goes by so many names, nobody's quite sure. I was sent a photo of the guy with an unspecified date, but no name seems to connect to the guy. The two that have been put forward are Tiv Vasilenko, or Wasilenko, which I've done a fair bit of searching for, but nothing Congo-related comes up to that name, so I'm unsure where it came from. And also Maurice Lucien Brun, but he was in 53 Commando up until mid-1965, so that's, again, doesn't really connect. So for now, the guy remains a mystery, but the guy I'm in communication with is in contact with Chris Host, so hopefully we'll have a bit of something coming up. The identity of the palace is also a bit messy. The documentary Africa Radio claims that they're Rhodesians, but both Mike Hoare and the German film crew were there at the time claim that these are Cuban anti-communists. I think a possible answer for this is that to make a more compelling scene, the film crew for Africa Radio blended scenes from Stanleyville in November in the footage of the Battle of Vendée in October. So it is possible that the Rhodesian pilots who were stationed in the east near Stanleyville are the ones we see due to the crew being unable to get footage of the Cuban pilots who actually supported 5-2 Commando. An interesting thing that I see get mentioned a lot is the equipment they're using. Most of the equipment used by the mercenaries was donated by the US. You can even see the US Congo assistance stickers on some of the Jeeps in the first video. The APC in video 2 is a Daimler-Benz slash Landswerk Unimog SH. It was supplied by Belgium and was one of only 9 in the country at the time. The uniforms are a mix of the standard solid colour Congolese army uniforms that were brought with the mercenaries from their respective countries, and civilian clothes. The guns are also just as mixed, mostly Belgian and Congolese stock, including FALs, SETMEs, LF-57s, Mausers, pistols ranging from, old P-38s to M1911s. The planes in the footage are T-28s, trainer planes. These were jerry-rigged to carry old Belgian stock bombs from World War II. However, the planes that actually got used in the area supporting 5-2 Commandos were A-26s armed with rockets, one of which was amazingly named the Shithouse Mouse. But other than that, not a lot is known, really. There's bits and pieces here and there, and there's a much wider story involving the whole event, but of the footage itself, that's all that's known. If anyone has any more questions, I can try to answer in the comments, but if you like this little FAQ, let me know. I may work on a larger video about the run-up to and the Battle of Bawendo itself, including the aforementioned drama, and maybe a bit more about how it all fits into the larger Congo story. Thank you for watching. If you need any links, they're in the description, and the next regular upload will be on the 15th. Thanks.